The Trump administration steps up the fight against drug smuggling and narco-terrorism, as reports claim. President Trump has been briefed on updated military options targeting Venezuela. So this is ratcheting up, and welcome to a brand new hour of America's Newsroom. Good morning, is this his birthday? Yes. Happy birthday, Bill. Happy birthday, Bill. Good morning, everybody. I'm Martha McCallum. So, the White House is announcing Operation Southern Spear, which targets Latin American drug cartels operating in America's neighborhood. President Trump ordering the military buildup to stem the flow of drugs into our homeland, which is obviously a good idea. And he is also putting a lot of pressure on someone who has wobbled before but has always maintained his leadership in Venezuela, behaves. Urging Maduro, with all of this action, to lose power. And as the mighty aircraft carrier USS Ford approaches the waters off Venezuela, Secretary of State Marco Rubio has a warning for the Maduro regime. This is a counter-drug operation. The president's ordered it in defense of our country. It continues. It's ongoing. It can stop tomorrow if they stop sending drug boats. Benudro. Regime is a narco-terrorist regime indicted in the Southern District of the United States for narco-terrorism. But more importantly, they're also a transshipment organization that allows these groups to operate from their national territory. They allow drugs to be shipped. They openly cooperate with the shipping of these drugs towards the United States and Europe. By the way, let's bring in Chad Wolf. He's a former acting Secretary of Homeland Security, and he's now director of the America First Policy Institute. Chad, here's General Jack Keane on sending the USS Ford that way. What the Trump administration is attempting to do is demonstrate to the elites that are surrounding Maduro that it's not worth keeping this guy in as our leader. As an army guy, I can tell you full out, the #1 symbol of American military superiority is that aircraft carrier that's sitting now off the coast of Venezuela. Chad, I imagine that you don't send the USS Ford if you're not serious. Well, I think that's right, and I would agree with the general there. Look, this is about a pressure campaign right now, Perth. What we know is that the Trump administration is going to back that up. It's not just intimidation. It's not just a bluff. I think they are looking, if there's not a change in Venezuela, as far as the narco-terrorist organization that Maduro runs, that if there's not going to be a change, then the Trump administration will take this to the next level. And they will eliminate that threat that's killing hundreds of thousands of Americans every year. Chad, Martha McCallum here. It's interesting. We saw what President Trump did at the southern border, and it choked off a lot of business for the cartels, both in drug business and in human trafficking as well. So then you see them taking this water route, which they always took, but maybe using it a little bit more now. What do you think they do? What is their next idea to try to get this stuff into the United States? Or is this the last avenue? I don't know that this is the last domino. Look, these are multinational organizations that they're not going to stop. They're going to continue to try to not only smuggle illicit narcotics into the United States, they're a criminal enterprise, so they're going to continue to do a number of things. Look, I think, to put this in the larger context though, this is not just about targeting with kinetic action drug boats. You know, they're in the Caribbean. The Trump administration, really from day one, has had a coordinated strategy here to deal with this illicit narcotics coming into the country. And so, whether that's designating a foreign terrorist organization or the border security measures, we just saw the FBI director, Director Patel, over in China, talking to them about precursors to fentanyl. A coordinated strategy here by the Trump team. That is the right strategy to try to reduce this threat to Americans. And so this is not probably the last type of action they're going to take. They're also going to look at land routes. They're going to look at a variety of different things to have these drugs continue to pour into the United States. Chet, do we have any? Or have you seen any of the evidence or results yet that there has been a reduction in the amount of drugs coming into the United States or being used here? Well, I think it's probably a little too soon for that. Some of these strikes, we're a couple of months into this. I think that's something that the Trump team will take a look at. I think when you look at the value, the street value of these illegal narcotics, if that starts to certainly go up, that means that there's a supply issue that they're dealing with as well. And so it's really important, though, that we put this again, the Venezuela here in the larger context, for far too long. A lot of these narco groups have just been criminal enterprises. It's what we see in Venezuela, Cuba, and to a lesser extent Mexico, is that there is state sponsorship. They are backed by the political and the ruling class. Now, and that's something that the Trump team is saying, look, not in the Western Hemisphere, not in our backyard. Because that destabilizes trade, it destabilizes economies. It's the security of the United States at stake here, too. And so that's why it's really important. I know a lot of people are saying, well, why Venezuela? It's in our backyard, and the Trump team understands that, and they realize that, and they're retaking that action. Chad, thanks for being with us today. Thank you. Thanks, Chad. Thanks for having me.